if you will, introduce yourself to the people.
Yep. So my name is Quantre Villa. I go by a few different names in the music business. Trez Falsetto. I'm a real estate investor. I'm a recording artist. I'm a father. Um, I've been moving and shaking for a while. In the entertainment scene, and ended up coming to Charlotte in 2019 to pursue real estate and entrepreneurship. So
I love it. I love it. So you said that you were in the music business as well.
yes, sir.
Now, how long were you in the music business?
So I started singing seriously probably around like 2012, 2013 when I was in college at North Carolina Central University. And I would say after that, I was trying to do like open mics and talent shows for about 2 or 3 years, and then eventually started recording around like 2014, 2015. So from 2014 to 2016 and 2017, I was just grinding, doing a whole bunch of what they call it, the Chitlin circuit stuff, a bunch of hole in the wall spots, and eventually I was able to get signed by an independent label where I really started to showcase myself and did a lot of opening up for a lot of artists, R. Kelly, Genuine, Tank, Cardi B, Two Chains, New Edition, Bobby Brown. So I was in great company. I'm gonna say that, and I learned and seen a lot of guys, a lot of girls, a lot of guys and girls that do this business, did the business on another level, and I was able to kind of look at them and say, dang, like this is legit. You know what I'm saying? So kind of made me really step my game up, and end up going to real estate in 2020, and here we are.
Wow, that was a crazy list of names you just dropped casually.
Yeah.
Um, what was it like opening up for those artists?
It was two things. So it was inspiring, of course, just to be able to grace the same stage as some of the greats that ever do it. I think I meant did I say Tank? That was actually one of the first people that actually invited me to open up for him, and it was inspiring, one, and then two, it was kind of nerve wracking. Like every time you go out on that stage, you got to understand that nobody knows you, nobody knows your music, so it's up to you to either win the crowd or lose the crowd, and you have to do it in a way to where you have to understand that, like, it's not about you. You know what I mean? Like I had to go every night. I had to get on that stage. Like, hey, it's not about you. It's about them having a good time, and it's up to you to lose them. You know what I'm saying? All on you. All that pressure. So it was dope though. All in all, it was dope. I experienced a lot. I traveled a lot. I got to see the good part of the road and the bad part of the road. The things that I don't like, and the things that I understand why people that has done it for 20, 30, 40 years. I see why they're still in it. So
Mm. I'd love to stay there, honestly. We had the pleasure of Heather Victoria coming through and kind of giving some background, her experience in the music industry, and so that's really dope.
yeah,
But you don't hear too many music artists promoting how they're in real estate. How did you get
right.
into real estate?
Yeah, good question. So, 2019, I was still living in Durham, North Carolina, where I'm born and raised, and I was actually working a 9 to 5. And at that time, I knew like immediately. I was like, after working at 9 to 5, and really it wasn't a 9 to 5. I was sometimes opening up at 6 and not getting back to the house until 8 o'clock. And I realized immediately, like, this is not gonna be my life. Like, I'm not gonna do this for a long time. This is definitely temporary. I know I want to, eventually work for myself. So, my partner, who's my partner now, he used to be my sales manager at Play It Again Sports, and I seen him doing real estate. I seen him, posting houses and saying how he was making money off real estate with little to no money. And I was just like, shoot, I gotta figure it out. Like, I'm an ear hustler. Like, I gotta find out a way to get in, tap into it. So reached out to him, and he pretty much put me on game. And I started kind of working with the company for about 6 or 7 months, just learning the ins and outs. And then eventually, when I came down here to move to Charlotte, I really took off. Like, I started, making calls on my own. I really started taking action, and eventually got a few deals, that I sent to him. Like, hey man, I think I got this seller that wants to sell. Can we JV on it, and let's get some money together. He got the deal. He locked it up, found a buyer, and I want to say I made like 4 or 5K on the first deal. And after that, that light bulb went off. Like, I mean, I know it's just $4,000 to $5,000, but it's like, if I really take this serious, it can grow. It can be a lot more. And like a week later, I sent them another one. Same thing. Locked that one up. I think we made like 2 or 3K. Me personally, I made like 2 or 3K on that. And then he was just like, "Hey man, like me and my partner was talking. Want to bring you in, bring you on board, man. Like you're crushing it. You're a hustler. You've shown yourself. How would you feel if we made you a partner?" I was like, "Hey man, I've been waiting for y'all to let me know." And so he brought me on board, and eventually the other partner ended up leaving the company last year. So now it's just me and my guy Renard who brought me into the game, and that's how I started. 3 years later, we got a team of 10, small team of 10. We've done over 120 deals. We've done 10 flips. We've done 5 to 7 rental property deals. So we've been moving, man. We've been moving, and things are good. God is good.
I love that, bro. Wow. Congratulations as well
Appreciate
on
it,
becoming partner. You said that you just recently moved down to Charlotte.
Yep.
To be able to make those strides, make those moves, as you mentioned, it does take that hustler mentality, hustler spirit. And I think the dopest part about you is that just from a visible standpoint, you never let it show. You never, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to be personal, I actually know some things about you that I do want to unpack just a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your battles with, and I call it battles because I personally think that you're winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your bouts with anxiety.
Mm.
Tell me a little bit about that, and then we're gonna double right back into this real estate and because
Yeah.
it's within you. Yeah.
Man, anxiety. Me and anxiety have a love-hate relationship, and I say that because without anxiety, I wouldn't have been able to learn a lot of things about myself that I know now.
Mm.
With anxiety, I learned a lot of things about myself. No, I'm not gonna say that. With anxiety, it turned me into a different person. It made me a lot more aware. It made me nervous a lot. It made me afraid to do things that normal people would not even think twice about. So on the good thing about anxiety, it's like I learned, about myself. I learned that, I had been masking trauma for a long time. I had been trying to cope or self-medicate, I would say, when I was dealing with anxiety symptoms. I've been dealing with anxiety my whole life, but I didn't know it was a thing until, 2021, December 3rd. I'll never forget it. I'm in the hospital, and I have like 2 severe panic attacks, just waiting for some doctor, some blood work and some doctor tests to come back, and I just lost it in there, man. Like I lost it in there, and like that was the beginning of it. And like the doctor came back and said, "Man, you're 100% healthy. You're one of the healthiest 27, 28-year-old guys we've ever seen. Blood work is immaculate." And it's crazy because with anxiety, it's like you can hear everything. Like the doctors can tell you everything that you want to hear, but it's like you have subconsciously programmed into your mind that something is wrong, that you're in such a deep hole. It doesn't matter what anybody tell you. You're going to believe what your brain has internalized and programmed over time. So, 2022 was rough, man. I mean, bro, I didn't drive for like 3 months. I had multiple, I was having panic attacks every day, really. But I mean, like driving on the road. I mean, like I'm coming down 77, meeting a buddy of mine, Trez, who we both know. And I had a massive one. I'm talking about I had to pull over the side of the road. My lady had to come pick me up. Like, bro, it was bad, man. Ambulance came out there, like, and that set me back because, like, I was already on track to kind of beating it, I felt. And that kind of set me back again, and I kind of had to, kind of start from the ground and, like, reprogram again, like, go back to therapy and unpack. But therapy helped. I was in therapy for about a year. I was on medication for a little minute, and eventually got off of it. But like with anxiety though, man, I became like more aware of my like diet. I became more aware of like alcohol and like cutting back some of the things that we just like society has made normal. And it's like it's the little stuff now that I'm so conscious about. It's like if I feel nervous about something or if I have anxiety about an event coming up, instead of me running to self-medication or going to get a shot or going to the hookah bar just to let out that nervous energy, I sit in it and I actually talk to myself and I say, well, why are you feeling like this? right? And it's like once I start having those internal conversations, it's like anxiety is no longer, it shouldn't be a bad thing. It should actually be just another, like, anxiety should never be bad. It should actually be your friend. It should be a way to let you know, hey, your body's talking to you. You know what I mean? And so it's a struggle, though, man. You know, it's a struggle. It's an everyday thing. I still deal with, intrusive thoughts daily. But now it's not, oh, I hear this thought, I'm running from it, and I'm nervous about it. It's more so like, why did I think that? You know what I mean? Like, why do I feel this way? What is my brain telling me? What is my body telling me? Did I forget to do something, and that's why I'm feeling this way? So now it's about having a better relationship with my inner child, and I think that's all anxiety is. And I'm cool with whatever anxiety gives me in the future, and I would love to help others get over it and walk through it.
I love that. That's why I felt as if it were important that we address it because, and I always point this out with other people, like very early on, let's get to some vulnerability. Let's get to some things because generally speaking, the people that I'm talking to are what I would define as successful, what I would define on their way to success, if not already successful. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With such a broad and dynamic, I'm going to use the word dynamic, background from really being a successful music artist. You grace stages in places that a lot of people wish to, and being successful in real estate, and as well as a mental health advocate. So you're successful in that lane too.
Dang, you just gave me another tab. I like that. I like that. He just threw one on me. Okay, all right.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, we got to give people their flowers while they can smell them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially, we can appreciate that exchange of energy because that's inspiring to me. That's the reason why I can call it out.
Yeah.
What have been some overlapping things that you've taken or have benefited you in each of those spaces?
Patience, man. I mean, with the anxiety, it's crazy because when I was getting into real estate, my mindset was like, real estate's gonna be easier because it's just work. With music, you can work your butt off and never get seen. Right? Music, you gotta have some talent too, a little bit. You know, with real estate, if you just put your head down long enough, you're gonna get good at it, right? Because it's like walking, man. It's like riding a bike. Like eventually, you're gonna get good at it, right? It's like over time. With anxiety, it's kind of weird. It's like after a while, you're gonna understand it's just anxiety. When at first it's like, man, am I dying? Is it a heart attack? Is it, am I having a stroke? Am I having blood clots? Like your mind starts to thinking, oh, well, a year and a half in now with me, it's like when I have the feeling in my head or like a little weird feeling or a little weird symptom, I know what it is. My body's telling me I'm nervous about something. It's probably something coming up, something I forgot to do, something that I should have done that I didn't do because I was being lazy, right? And my body's just talking to me now. Now I know how to like relate, but it took time, right? So for me, it's like when I look at the three, or if we want to compare careers, right? Real estate is like just putting your head down and grinding and really networking. Well, music is that grinding, putting your head down, networking, but you got to be good and you have to be in front of people all the time. You know what I mean? But with the real estate, I use music. So I use my like being in front of the cameras. I've been doing this for 7-8 years. So this is natural to me. You know what I mean? Speaking in front of crowds. I sung in front of 8,000 people. So I can get in front of a crowd in 200 and talk. It's nothing to me, right? But I had to use one to kind of propel the other. You get what I'm saying?
So since you've moved to Charlotte and engaged into the real estate industry, what have been some of your highlights? What have been some things that stand out to you?
Yeah, I would say, being that I've been in Charlotte since 2019, I moved out here August or September of 2019, and I would say one of the biggest things that just recently, I was brought on board to help, coordinate a real estate organization, like a real estate meetup organization, and I got on board in April, and then 2 Thursdays ago, we had our biggest event yet with 200 people in attendance at a real estate meetup, which is crazy. Most meetups, any meetup I've ever been to in my life, whether it was in Raleigh, Durham. I've been to some in Belmont, Charlotte, Rock Hill. I've never been to one more than 120 people, maybe.
Mm.
And I think I might be pushing it there that I've been to. So to have 200 that I like, and I'm seeing the big names that were big names when I first got here. Now we're peers. Like to see them come to my event, it's like, dang, dude, like you. It's kind of like shocking. But one thing I realized, even when I was like gracing stages for R. Kelly, it was like my mindset used to be like, man, if I ever get on that stage, I don't know what I'm gonna do, right? And then Tank invites you, and R. Kelly invites you back. You know, the second time, it's like my mind shifted to like, all right, what's next? Like, and it's just like this. It's crazy. It's like bringing 200 people in a building. That is crazy when you look at it from the outside.
Yeah.
But now my mindset is like, what's next? What are we gonna do now? So it's like I'm always naturally humbling myself to know that this is great, this is dope. And you know what, give all the glory to God, because you know you weren't here 2 years ago, you weren't here a year ago, you 6 months ago you weren't leaving the house. You know what I mean? So to be here and to have this type of success, and yes, it's success. I gotta look in the mirror and say this is success. You gotta you know, give yourself a pat on the back. But what's next, right? Like what we gonna do now? So it's always room to grow, man. But I would say that's one of the biggest highlights, man. Two weeks ago was mind blowing, bro.
You mentioned a name, so this is going to feel like taking a step back and going sideways.
Yeah.
But I think I want to just shed some light and maybe get some perspective, considering you've met this person personally.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about any R. Kelly scandals with you.
Yeah.
Um,
right.
I do want to know your thoughts on not exactly the R. Kelly situation,
Yeah.
but the idea of keeping your name clean, your reputation clean, and what level of importance that is to you.
Yeah.
Because at some point it seemed as if R. Kelly kind of took things for granted, and I don't know factually, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying one way or the other, but can you speak to reputation, good name, all those things?
Man, I'm reading a book right now. It's called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. And this quote I'm about to say doesn't really like match up with the title of the book, but in the book he says something like, your name and your legacy is the only thing. Your name and your legacy is the only thing that truly matters at the end of the day, right? Because when your name is tarnished, that's forever, right? When you're dead and gone, whatever your name was you know, whatever you were known as when you die, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't wake back up and change it.
Mm-hmm.
So how I unpack that, I'm like, okay, that means that all the work that I do from the time, I guess, my working days of being 18, 19, 20, doing the music days from, you know, 21, 22 to 27, 28 when I was really going crazy with it, right? And now going into real estate. It's like these years, these total compounding years are going to totally make what my legacy is the day I close my eyes, right? Mm-hmm. And once it's over, it's like, it's nothing you can do, right? So your name and your bond is everything. I tell my daughter every day, I'm like, you know, if you don't do anything, be a man of your word. I mean, be a woman of your word, right? And if I had a son, I would say, be a man of your word, right? Like, it's so many times that, especially with the anxiety stuff, so many times where I was losing myself because I would have like an anxiety attack and I would have something going on and I would cancel. Mm-hmm. And that used to beat me up so much because it was like, I really wanted to be there, but you don't understand what I was going through and I don't even know how I was going to get there, you know? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But to circle back, it's like, man, it's so important, man, to keep your name clean, man. Like, and that's why I tell people, like, a lot of times I say, hey, man, look, I was working with Kales before the BS. Like, that's like my disclaimer, right? Because it's like, not saying that, you know, I still love the music. Like, the music is the music, but it's like, it's hard, man, it's hard, like, as a diehard fan growing up, it's like, dude, what you did, and like you said, the opportunities that you had to distance yourself from that after numerous slaps on the wrist, it's like, fool me once, shame on me, but fool me twice, it's on you, bro. Like, the third time and the fourth time and the fifth time, it's like, all right, man, they not lying, bro. You know, and so it's tough. You know, one or two bad decisions, or in his case, multiple bad decisions. It's gonna like they're not gonna look at 50 years from now. They're not gonna say R. Kelly was one of the best songwriters of all time. They're gonna say he's a pedophile. Despite the 40 years of good music, or excuse me, 30 years of good music, they're not gonna say, man, I'll step in the, like 50 years from now, they're probably not gonna be jamming a Step in the Name of Love. They would have probably if this didn't happen.
That is such an interesting perspective, solid perspective for sure. Interesting nonetheless, because what I'm going to do now is speak on media. I think the reason that we're doing this is it's important to document, obviously, casual conversations. You know what I mean? We've been rocking for a year and some change now.
Yeah.
Can you separate, and I'm going to give examples before I let you answer and give your perspective. Do we separate the art from the artist? Do we separate the work from the worker? The reason I ask that is because when I think of John Michel Basquiat, I remember learning that he had a drug addiction. Now, granted, that was his outlet, so I'm not mad at that. I'm not judging him. However, most people, when you hear of a person doing hard drugs, they start to think of people in a certain light, if you will. Yet and still, John Michel Basquiat produced such great artwork that is revered highly today. So, with that context, can we separate the art from the artist, or is it one full package?
I think that has to be something. I think that has to be subjective for every person, because I can't speak on the next person's mentality on that. Because if I say yes, you have to, well, that means that little girl or that grown woman who was raped or molested or whatever when she was young, who has that built-in trauma, that means I'm telling her, hey, you have to separate R. Kelly from Robert. Which, can you? That's on, it's kind of subjective, right? It's like, me personally, I'm an R&B junkie. Like, I love R&B. I mean, I literally wake up every morning listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Elements. Like, no joke. Like, I'll tell Alexa, hey, play Earth, Wind, and Fire while I'm showering up. Like, that's just me. That's how I get my day started. I even go to the 60s and go listen to Sam Cooke. So, R. Kelly was my hero growing up as far as R&B. Like, I wanted to be a writer because of R. Kelly. So, for me personally, it's like, it's so hard to not differentiate it. But I got a daughter now, too. And, it's one of those things. It's like, sometimes you just, like, if that dog keeps barking, he's a dog, man. And, like, sometimes you just got to say, all right, this wasn't right. And I gotta walk away from me being a fan, because what will my daughter say if she's like, dang, you're a fan of this guy? My daughter, when she gets older, she's not going to understand the Step in the Name of Love. She's just going to know what he's known for. And if I'm the super fan of that, she's going to, well, Dad, it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Dad, I mean, so I think it's all subjective, though. I think it's subjective, and I can't speak for everyone. I think it's something that, each individual, a lover of music or a lover of him or a lover of the art, you have to decide if you can separate the two or not. It's up to you.
Thank you for sharing that perspective. Obviously, that's not necessarily an easy approach, but you handled that with grace.
Yeah.
I think I think that perspective, personal opinion, should speak to the broad case of, any and everything that we're looking with a lens of judgment.
Right.
It's subjective based upon your experience, all those different things. And you being someone who's, been close to this person, this is still your viewpoint, which is sound. Yeah. You have a time in the past, you have a time in present, and then you're thinking about the future with your daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
What's it like being a partner of a growing real estate company?
It's challenging, man. It's definitely challenging. When you're responsible for 8 to 10 mouths and families, you're always constantly, I guess you can say, overthinking. You're always constantly trying to find ways to make the business run more smoothly. A lot of times, we always hear people say, man, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to, be a business owner. It's like they don't understand, though. Like, I talk to some people, like friends, like, man, I wish I can travel, man. Like, just be able to just get up and just move and, you know, without having to check in with nobody. I'm like, man, look, you don't really want my life though. Like it looks good, right? But you don't really want the fact that anybody can call you at any time of the day and expect you to pick up because you're the one that pays them. You're the one that feeds their family. And then once you start doing events and stuff, now you become not, I don't like to say the word influencer, but you become I guess you can say like an authority of the community, the real estate space. And now people think, you know, I can reach out to him whenever, and if I don't reach back out, I'm going to be looked at as, oh man, you're big-headed now. So it's like this constant pressure of, you know, you have to kind of be available, right? And it's tough. And I would say with the growing business, that's probably, like, I think the business part of it is the easiest for me to manage mentally because I've gotten good at creating SOPs and processes and systems to be able to know that if I go on vacation for 2 weeks, which I did this summer, I traveled for the first time like a lot in like 4 years. Like the grind has sat me down that long that I really, like the most I've done is went to the beach for a few days, right? Like I haven't really done anything, you know. That's something people don't talk about, you know what I mean? And I would say now though, now that I'm able to, you know, put SOPs in front of my staff so I can fire myself, now the business part of it is easy because I figured it out. It's like, it's not about me working hard, right, in my business. It's about me working on my business and getting out of it. Now that I'm out of it, I can do the CLTREI and I can be that community leader in this space. And now I have more time for other things. At first, a lot of the anxiety came from the business also, if I can be completely transparent. I mean, just think about it. From the time I was 22 to 25, 21 to 26, I had a guaranteed check coming in every 2 weeks. I moved to Charlotte, that stopped. And if you're not ready for that type of change, if you don't even know, if you're not a hustler first and foremost, you're gonna struggle, right? Because if you have to get up every day and hunt, and if you don't hunt, you don't eat. If you don't eat, your family doesn't eat, your rent doesn't get paid. I mean, I was doing DoorDash, I was trading stocks, Forex, I was donating plasma. I got marks still. I still got marks. You know, I was I was going to like warehouses and buying pallets and busting them down, reselling them. You know, like bro, I was doing a lot of things just to make ends meet while I was working on my business. A lot of times people think, oh man, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be this entrepreneur and I'm gonna be this business owner. Everything's gonna be graceful. Well, it happens, and also it happens in my case where, you know, the business doesn't pop off until 3 years later, and you still have to find a way to swim until the business, you know, takes off. So that's my perspective, man, on a growing business. But once you figure it out, though, like now I got to figure it out. Like now it's all about getting better at training and, you know, like getting my staff better and motivating. Now this is the fun part of business. Now when you got it figured out, you know what I'm saying? So we can truly scale.
See, I got to remember who I'm interviewing, man. You already had that question lined up because I knew some things, and here you go, bringing it full circle. I love that. I love that because I watched you grind. You taught me some things about grinding and, you know, pallet flipping and relationships and still staying true to yourself, you know, throughout that whole process. And it's been beautiful to watch it grow, no doubt.
Yeah, and likewise, man. I think, you know, sometimes you got to give flowers where, like you said, give them where they're due. I've seen your clientele jump. You know, I don't know never pocket watching, man, but I see you working all the time. And, you know, I remember when you said, I'm gonna do this full time. You know, like we were talking about it, man. I know we was at the hookah bar.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, bro, I want to do it, but. You know, and that's the thing we don't understand. Like being an entrepreneur is it's that choice. It's that choice of jumping off that. I don't want to make it sound corny, but like jumping ship. Like it's that choice. Yeah. If you don't ever make that choice, you're just gonna keep waiting because you don't know what's gonna happen until you jump.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And now it's like you're doing it full time now, bro. Like this is your life. So like now you got a better passion. You got a better understanding. And I bet you have a better, you have more appreciation for your time. Being an entrepreneur, oh my goodness, man, my time. That's why I felt bad when I was like, man, 6:15 gonna be, because like I understand the importance of our time, man. You know, and so yeah, man, it's truly remarkable, man, to see it. You know.
I appreciate you 100%.
Yeah.
And time is important for sure. But with those who you have a dynamic connection with, you know, and you have history with, time is of no consequence. You know, I like to think that way. Outside of your family, what motivates you?
Man, that's a good question, bro. What motivates me, honestly, is to never go back to where I was when I was in a real low moment. And you know what's funny? When people ask me all the time what motivates me, and my motivation has never been the same. Right? Like my motivation, like when I was doing the music industry, I'll be honest, I just wanted to be famous. I wanted to be the baddest mother, you know what, that graced the stage. That was my motivation. Well, now my motivation is I don't want to get back to where I was in like early 2020, deep into the pandemic, early 2021. I don't want to go back there financially, mentally, spiritually, diet-wise, the consumption of alcohol, the bad things that I was doing to my body and to my mind. I don't want to go back there, right? So what motivates me is just that. I don't want to go back. Well, how do I not go back? You better sit your head down and grind. You better work on your business, not in it. Work on your business. And also give value to people. One thing I've learned over the last 6 to 8 months, I was reading a book called the Go Giver book. They got a series of it, and it's really all about like just giving value to people for free. Like giving value. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this meetup business. Is just the more you give value to people, the more it's gonna come back. And like honestly, it's times where, yeah, I do consultations and I do coachings, right? Because my time is valuable. But it's like sometimes people will reach out to me, be like, hey man, can I get on a quick call with you? I mean, I just want to see if you can go over this with me. Yeah, man, give me a call. Send it over to me. I'll comp it for you. I'll send it right back. Now, knowing when I comp it, I'm giving them all the tools to get it locked up wherever they needed to get it at and to get an end buyer without me. Or if they're looking to hold on to it themselves, I'm literally giving them all the ammunition they need to make a good offer. I don't make a dime off of that. I don't touch the rental proceeds, nothing. But I'm giving the value. You get what I'm saying? And so I think those are the things that motivate me. Like I want to help the next person. Like I hate my journey took this long. So how can I help the next man get from step one to where I'm at now, or even further, quicker? So that's what motivates me.
What was the switch that turned off? And I want to ask about your confidence level, but you've been so confident for so long that it's almost like innate to you.
Yeah.
That I don't know if you know anything outside of being confident in yourself.
Yeah.
Were there times? Let's ask that. Have there been times where you were not confident in yourself?
Yeah. I mean, you just wouldn't see it though. You know, it's like, man, I'll tell you this. I've battled with like low self-esteem and low confidence for all my life, really. But I just know how to mask really, really well. But with masking really, really well, you start to grow into liking certain things about yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest, man. Like, I come off as really confident, right? But it's because I've like became, like I've adapted. I adapt well. Let me say that. I adapt well, right? So any situation you put me in, like even when I moved here, I didn't have no plan. I was just like, man, I'm gonna hustle. I'm gonna trade some stocks and forex until I figure it out. And if the market goes bad for whatever reason, I'm gonna do something else. So I'm just a great adapter. And once I adapt in something that I feel like I'm good in, it's game over. Because I'm going to outwork you, you know, and then I'm going to learn more about whatever I'm doing than the average person. Like I'm never going to stop learning. So with me, man, I'm not even going to say it's supreme confidence because I'll be lying to these people to make it seem like, I'm just so confident. I'm working on that every day. Like I'm working on loving myself more. I'm working on self-love. I'm working on, confidence. Like I'm working on that. And that's something you really have to work on. Everyone's not naturally confident. And I wasn't, but I'm just a hard worker in the little things that we don't think about. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like if you put me in a situation where I'm not comfortable in, but I figure out how to tread water and I don't sink. All right, now I'm gonna figure out, all right, how do I get to that wall though? Now I'm just, all right. Now I just need to get to that wall. Now once I get to that wall, I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna take a deep breath, and now I'm gonna say, all right, now I need to get to the other side of the pool, you know. And so that's how I operate, you know what I mean? And it looks like confidence. Is not. It's just a whole bunch of preparation and execution, you know. So hopefully that answers your question, man. Because
100%.
yeah,
100%. And that, like you mentioned earlier, it's all subjective, right?
yeah,
The greatest thing that we can offer, personal opinion, is our perspective, right? It may stick with me. It may account for something in my life, and it may have completely nothing to do with me. Me personally, I like to think that everything is interconnected, intertwined. Nothing happens for no reason. You're here for a reason, and so we've been connected for this time for a reason.
Yeah.
Thankfully, through Trez, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Hopefully,
Shout
we
out
can get
Taz.
him on the segment too.
yeah.
What are you looking forward to? What do you have coming up?
I'm actually taking a new development class. We talking about continuing education, right?
Yeah.
I'm taking that this Saturday and Sunday. So I'll be able to know how to build new houses, develop land, develop, like literally become a developer, which is another level in the real estate journey. And it's something that, I didn't think about doing growing up. It's just, like I tell you, once I get into a situation, I'm going to keep learning. So it's like, once I learn that, oh man, it's gone. Oh my goodness. Because now I can actually look at a piece of property that's a vacant lot and I can identify what could be the highest and best use out of it. And what separates, I would say, a wholesaler or a flipper from a dynamic investor is a dynamic investor, and that's what I want to become. And a dynamic investor is someone that does it all, right? They can buy and hold properties, they can fix and flip, they can develop land, they can wholesale, they can make offers creatively, sell or finance, subject to, and I know that's a little deeper conversation, but it's all full circle. So it's like, I think that's the missing piece of the puzzle for me. I've done everything else in real estate, right? I might not have 1,000 deals under my belt, but I have a lot, and I would say I'm probably in the top 10 to 15% in the industry. Most people don't make it past their first year in this business, definitely not your second year. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to taking this class. It's gonna be in Charlotte with a guy named KB Holdings. That's his company, KB Holdings. They do like a lot of modern style new developments, and soaking up that game so I can be able to do the same exact thing, and really further our business. So now our business is not gonna just be, wholesalers and flippers and buy and hold. Now we can put developer under our belt. So another tool, man, another tool.
Give me some quick tips for people who are wanting to get into the real estate industry. I know that's very broad, by the way.
Yeah, that's broad, but I can help you out. I can break it down.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you need to identify what you want to do, and don't look at money, right? Like, stay off social media, and because social media is going to just take you to one way, and there's going to be a whole bunch of false information out there. So when you say, hey, I want to get into real estate, try to identify what do you actually want to do, and whether that's being a flipper, whether that's being a realtor, whether that's being a wholesaler, whether that's being a developer, figure out what you want to do and find one thing you want to focus on and put your head down and try to master it. And start out with YouTube University. I mean, we're in the information age. I really think we're in the true information age, right? I know there was another information age, but this is the real information age where I can type in something on YouTube and I can literally have 1,000 people who are quote unquote experts in the field and whatever I'm trying to do, and they'll give you free advice on it, literally from start to finish. So find something that you want to do in the real estate space, whether it's being a realtor, a flipper, or whatever, and find one thing and go on YouTube or find someone that's selling a course, invest in yourself and just truly dive into one thing and become an expert at that, right? My thing was wholesaling. We started out wholesaling, and that's what we just put our head, like we didn't even flip or buy properties, like hold them for like 2 or 3 years, bro. Like we just, everything we got, we turned it and burned it, turned it and burned it. Quick profits, 10, 20, 30,000. Quick, boom, 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 boom. And we did that for 2 years without even flipping a property. Then we went into flipping. Did about 10, we've done 10 flips now, but we did about 3 or 4. And then we said, okay, we got this. Figured it out. Bought rental properties. Bought 1, bought 2, bought 3. Okay, figured it out. And, now now we're looking to get into the new development space. So it's like, but you got to start with something. You know what I mean? And once you start with something and learn, and it's like the knowledge is out there, man. Like YouTube University is crazy. Like it's so many people that's just giving out free game right now, right? It's no excuse to where you can't find a skill and like master it in 2023.
No, that's facts. I mean, YouTube University is practically, the new college for people who either don't want to go to the 4-year university or really don't find a way to not need to go to the 4-year university to succeed and get to the next thing. So, what makes you happy? What makes you smile?
Man, this might sound broad, but man, what makes me happy now is like seeing my little one, man. Like seeing her see me not the way she used to see me. Like those days that I mentioned earlier was rough, and like now every day that I don't have any issues, and that makes me happy because it's like, bro, you beat it, bro. Like you did it. But also another thing that makes me happy, I love to read now. I read a lot. I love to work out, and also I love to see like my staff win. Like when we pay bonuses out, and my staff, like I see them like on the weekend, like, and they're all virtual employees, either in the Philippines or Jamaica. But it's like when I see them spend that dollar that to us might not seem like a lot, but to them it's like, man, dude, I appreciate y'all. Like that makes me happy, man. Like I have 2 staff that bought, one staff member that bought 2 cars in the last year. He kept one and he's renting another one out. He said, man, I got that entrepreneurship mindset from y'all, man. And then I got another guy that bought a car, and I got another, I got a chick, a female in Philippines that bought land. She bought like 3 parcels of land in Philippines, and I got another lady that she's like renovating her whole house. It's like her house is like a house, apartment, and a store, like a local store in the Philippines. So she's like renovating like the bottom part of the building, and she was just like, man, without y'all and these commissions and these bonuses, it wouldn't be possible, man. So that, as a business owner, like if that doesn't make me happy, then nothing will, right? Because that's what you do it for. So that's the stuff, man, that makes me happy now, man. It's honestly just every day I get an opportunity to wake up and smile and walk. That makes me happy. Seeing my daughter, like being around my family, that makes me happy. But also, man, seeing my staff, like being able to feed another person, like to be able to truly help another person's family, man, that's probably the best feeling ever, man. So.
Nah, that's dope, bro. That's really sound there. Do you feel like there's anything that you haven't been asked or anything that you want to share?
Nah, I mean, I'm an open book, bro, and I feel like you know a lot about me. I would say, man, I want to go to the mental health space before we finish. Like,
Absolutely.
Anybody that's dealing with anxiety, depression, do not be afraid to go and speak to somebody, man. Like, go to therapy. And when you go to therapy, understand that the work doesn't stop just because you got a therapist. The work begins once you go to therapy, and the work truly begins after you get out of the office and she gives you the homework and the coping stuff and the deep work exercises and the meditation. But I promise you, like, anybody that's watching this right now and that's suffering from severe anxiety, like, I'm telling you right now, the fact that I'm sitting in front of you right now, you can do it. Like, I promise you can do it. But it's going to take time. It's going to take work. It's going to take deep work. It's going to take you doing stuff that you don't want to do. It's going to take you getting outside of your comfort zone. Like, some people are afraid to drive. Hey, you got to go drive. On the other side of fear of success. So you got to go drive. If you're afraid of being in crowds, hey, you need to go to the mall and walk and get over it. You know what I mean? And I don't mean get over it in a insensitive way. I mean get over it like you got to get through it. Like you got to push through that door. And then also, like, take the time to journal and understand the things that you haven't been doing that's or that you have been doing that isn't good for yourself, and you need to put that on paper and say, all right, let me start with let me stop doing this for a week. Let me see how my body reacts. All right, you start feeling better. All right, let me stop doing this until you get to the point where you realize like a lot of the anxiety that we deal with and the depression that we deal with, a lot of times, not all the time, and a lot of the anxiety is a lot of stuff that we've been unpacking for so long and we've been coping with it the wrong way. So you have to learn to, it's kind of like unlearning and relearning. Like you have to like get comfortable being uncomfortable, and it's gonna be okay. Like I promise you, it's gonna be okay, and you're gonna get to the other side. And once you get to the other side, don't forget about the stuff that got you to the other side. That's it.
I love that, bro. I want to shout you out for this shirt too, bro. Give me some details on this shirt.
Hey,
this
man,
is fire.
This is my boy Kraken, man. One of my best friends. We're both from Durham, North Carolina, man. He jumped off the porch, man. He was in the Navy. I don't know the amount of years, but he was in the Navy for a while. I want to say like maybe 5-6 years or something like that. And he just went completely entrepreneur. He's chasing music right now. Just moved to Atlanta. He got a new single called Green Jackets. It's on all streaming platforms. This is his merch. I don't know, man. Maybe I can, we can put his, his tag somewhere in this video so if people want to cop the shirt. I'm always going to support. I'm either going to wear my logo on a shirt or one of my friends. If not, I'm wearing a black tee or a white tee. So, that's me. Like, I ain't wearing nobody else stuff but my people in mine. So, let's do it, man. Like, y'all make sure y'all check out my boy Kraken, Green Jacket, single out everywhere. Let's go.
Love it, bro. Trez Falsetto. Trez closed it.
Yeah.
Trez, thank you for joining us today.
Bro.
I look forward to the next conversation.
Yes, sir. My God.
Yes, sir.
That shit was dope, man.
Word.